al licenciado Felipe Calderón Hinojosa, Presidente de los Estados Unidos Mexicanos. Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for His Excellency, Mr. Felipe Calderón Hinojosa, President of the United Mexican States.
Your Excellencies, my Lords, ladies and gentlemen, the Chief Executive of the British Council, Martin Davidson, and I are very pleased to offer you a warm welcome to this lecture, which is part of the series that we've arranged to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the foundation of the British Council. In recent weeks, we've had the delight of hearing Archbishop Desmond Tutu and Nobel laureate Professor Amartya Sen, and this morning, plainly, we have the great honor to be addressed by the President of the Mexican United States, His Excellency, Senor Felipe Calderón. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, in the decades since its small beginnings in 1934, the British Council and its people have served countless millions across the world by helping them to gain opportunities in educational, aesthetic, vocational, and creative activities of every kind. Through such means, the Council, with our partners, has advanced understanding of Britain in the world, and we hope, understanding of the world in our country. The development of such cultural relations continues to be our mission. We pursue it because we are convinced that the exchange of ideas, knowledge, and creativity between peoples and persuasions contributes productively to securing a more peaceful, a more enlightened, and a more prosperous 21st century. We've been applying these practical principles for 75 years, and for 66 of those years, the British Council has operated in Mexico. We greatly value the close relationships which have developed through those decades, and they have particular significance now, when Mexico and the United Kingdom have obvious common concerns about and seek to apply effective remedies to the menace of climate change and the challenges of the global financial crisis. Our guest this morning is a very distinguished activist on both of those environmental and economic fronts. And he is an activist as a leader, as the leader of a country with more than 100 million people that is the world's 14th largest economy and 5th largest oil producer, and has the advantages and the hazards of being bounded by the Pacific Ocean and by the Gulf of Mexico. Mr. President, the British Council greatly appreciates your support for our work and your very positive association with our country. It's a privilege to have you with us, and we welcome you warmly as a friend, a very firm friend. Ladies and gentlemen, with pride and great pleasure, I ask you to greet President Felipe Calderón.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ladies and gentlemen, but it's an honor for me to be here at the British Council, the emblem of intercultural dialogue that the United Kingdom has established all over the world. I thank Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II for her invitation to undertake this state visit and, as part of it, to be with you today on the 75th anniversary of these noble institutions. The British Council has been a close friend of Mexico for many years, as the chairman already said. You have brought us British culture, and you have helped many thousands of young students, Mexican students, to have the benefits and the advantages of your excellent education system. I was delighted to receive the British Council invitation to address you today and take the opportunity to pay tribute to the Council's work in Mexico and throughout the world during the last 75 years. I wish you at least another 75 years of continued success. And I want to use this opportunity to address a very important challenge that everybody of us are facing. And it's, for me, the most important challenge that the human being is facing in this century, which is climate change. And let me tell you a story. When I was a boy, I heard my father talking about environmental issues. And it was, if I can say, anti-climate circumstances, because he was at a national convention of my political party. We were in the opposition then, and we were only thinking about elections, frauds, and how to transform Mexico into a democracy and so on. And suddenly he started to talk about horrible things. For instance, he was talking about and describing the devastating conclusions of the Rome Club, especially that the conclusions that appear in the document known as Our Common Destiny, which appears at the end of the 60s. So before the astonished crowd, my father spoke in the mid-70s about the possible melting of the polar ice caps. He talked about acid rain. He talked about deforestation, of the possible end of the modern civilization. And he used a phrase to say that this civilization, our modern civilization, that discovered several other civilizations, the Egyptians and the Aztecs and the Mayans, doesn't realize yet that it's possible its own destruction and death. Of course, his colleagues said he was going crazy. It was a problem of his age. But time has passed, and the ice caps are melting. Mexico's mountains lost their perennial snow, like is happening in several continents. The desert is advancing across the country. Our woods and forest range are thinning than ever. And every year, stronger hurricanes are hitting our coast and damaging the poorest people in the country.